Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our fourth class, lesson number 4 of how to sculpt a dragon. Try to load up my reference here. So at this point, you should have your baked dragon head with horns attached, like this. Now, I decided I was going to add more than these one big set. I was going to add some smaller horns and even ears, but they don't have to be done at this stage. We can add those on later, which I ultimately decided we would do. So, what we will do is now we have our baked head. We're going to build the frame for the body, fill the body out with some foil, and then add like kind of a base layer of clay. And we're going to create kind of the foundation to our entire dragon. So the idea here is that this will be kind of like a slimmed down, skinnier version of the dragon, because we're going to go over the whole body one section at a time, doing the scale details and all that stuff. So, but it's always nice to have a solid structure or figure to build onto. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And during this stage, we want to really make sure that the final pose of our sketch and proportions is what we want. Because if you want to make any changes, now's the time to do that. So I've sat here and looked at this enough though to know that I'm pretty happy with kind of what we got going on here. So we're going to be sticking to the plan. So for this one, we will definitely be using our reference of Dragon Anatomy, and we have our reference in front of us here because we have a already fleshed out kind of body. So yeah, as far as proportions go, I don't think I want to change anything. We want the head to remain kind of bigger. So okay, so if you tuned in and you watched the sketch class, this will be very similar with the building of the way the frame is built from the sketch to the final is pretty much the same. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is what the details of my head turned out like, and we added on these larger horns. I went ahead and the missus highlighted the class homework sessions, which we'll do from now on. So anytime I'm doing homework, you can see how I got from last class to this finished state. During those, it's during the normal week, so I'm not really being super informative. I'm just getting the homework done. So in case you wanted to see, you can go check those out. They'll be added to the playlist too. So okay. So we'll need, this is just some floral wire. It's 22 gauge. Doesn't have to be floral wire. It could just be any sort of 22 gauge size wire. We have our galvanized steel. I believe this is 16 gauge wire. I've already twisted up 2 pieces of it here. But I think we'll do a third one to be the neck and the tail. So these become the arms or the legs, and then the neck and the tail. So I guess we'll start with that. Twisting up some wire here. We're going to use a drill. Some wire cutters. Grab a piece that's about as long as my wingspan. We will be adding the initial layers of clay today, building out that initial anatomy. We want to get this to the baking stage by the end of class today. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, so we bend it in half here. Put the bent half into the drill. Like you're just putting a drill bit in there. And then we'll grab the other end with pliers. These ones aren't the best, but I don't know where my other ones are. So I'll just kind of rotate it around like that. And then simply turn the drill on and twist it up. Okay. Everybody do the twist. Just cut the wire off here. The end. And this end usually. Okay, now we got 3 pieces. That should be all we need. Let's take these 2. And we're gonna make an X. Somewhere in about the middle there. Definitely easier to do this part with better pliers, but we'll work with what we have here. Oop. There we go. Put some pressure there, and I give it a nice hefty twist here. Once you get the twist going, you could just use your hands here. Right now we're focusing on making the length of the spine, so from the front hips to the back hips. But we want to make sure too that we're not making it too short on one side. Okay. Are the proportions that you use to measure the body wires based off of the head? Yeah, exactly. So you can, I mean, we're going to use the proportions we have established in the sketch here, because you can see the head's pretty much the same size. So I can just take measurements right off of the sketch. But if you didn't have the sketch, you could just think, okay, how many heads big is the body, And you can see here we have it's probably about one head. For the length of the spine is probably about one head in length, So I can use that to measure here. So I could see I need to twist it maybe once or twice more. So let's give that another twist. One on that side and maybe one on the other. Let me measure. It's about one head there. Okay, and then we look at the next measurement, which is the width of the shoulders, which the width is about the width of a body. So I can just put it right there and we can see that right about there. We'll bend that, let's use pliers here. I want to get a nice right angle bend. So you hold it where the bend needs to be with the pliers, and then you just kind of push against the edge of the plier there. Just like that. Gives you that nice right angle bend. You can just duplicate that on the other side here. A little bit shorter. Let's redo that. Now the back hips are about the same. Very, very similar. So we're just gonna kind of mimic that measurement. There we go. So now we got the four legs. We could add the frame for the tail and the head will be kind of like, the neck will be like this, and we'll just kind of tie it to the center there. But let's get the legs bent first. So let's see here. Again, we can use our head to measure. We're looking at from the paw to the elbow is about one head. That's about half a head. So let's say this one's the front. About halfway is about right there. Give that a bend. Right now we're just focused on making sure we get all the sizes of things correct. The better job you do in this stage, the easier the rest will happen. So, okay, now we'll just duplicate this size here. Do the other side. Essentially, we're making an action figure that will bend and pose after. It's a little bit shorter. Let's make that a little bit longer. That's right, Plata. Just always have to remember you're never gonna make your perfect masterpiece. There's always going to be parts that fall short, and you just have to accept it where it's at and move forward. Because otherwise you would be stuck on your first project forever, if you think about it, perpetually stuck on it. Okay, so the knee on the back leg is going to be a little bit lower than where the elbow is on the front. Just a little bit lower, so I'm thinking like right there. Let's bend this like this. Do that over here. I bet we'll make the hips narrower in the back. Maybe. Perfection paralysis. It's a good term. Okay, and then this measurement's about half of what this is. So half of what that is. There you go. Boom. For that, like hock. The second bend. Duplicate it over here. Okay, now we have to establish where the feet will be. Kind of the length. Similar to this, so we'll take this measurement here, and then we just bend right there. Same here. So everything past that point is now under the ground. But we don't want to cut it just yet. We want to leave the length there, because this gives you room to play around with the pose and figure out the scenery. So okay, and then the front leg is this measurement here. All right, there. There we go. Now I'm gonna squeeze these back hips. I don't want these to be as wide, so we're gonna squeeze them like this. That's better. I made them more narrow just by squeezing it. Technically, I could go like, we could rebend these if we wanted to. Okay, so now we want to add this next piece of wire, which will be the head and the neck. So let's first cut a piece of wire that's longer than we know we need, and then we'll cut it to size once we get it attached. So probably about there for the neck, and for the tail probably to about here. Cut it. You always cut way longer than you think you need, and then kind of hone it in. Make many cuts till you get it just right. If you're just joining us, this is part of a series of classes where I'm teaching how to sculpt a dragon character. So this is what the work we've done so far. We've sketched the character, we've sculpted the head, and now we're building the body. All these videos are available on YouTube or on Twitch if you want to join in and learn. But yeah, so now we're doing the armature. We're creating the skeleton for the actual final body that we'll make out of cosplay. So okay, so now let's take the floral wire, if I can find it. Let's see here. And we're gonna tie this. We're gonna tether this piece of wire to the spine. The sketch is a sculpt too. Yeah, we sketch with clay here, so it's just a different kind of clay that can be melted down over and over again, called Chavant. And we did this in the first sitting where we just kind of proof of concept our idea. So the final version can change from this. This is just kind of going through the motions, figuring out what we want to do, so when we head into the final version, we kind of have some hindsight. So join us, Llama. Yeah, so by the way, thanks to everybody who's chipped into the class fund to make these classes able to happen. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'll be shouting out any new support coming in during the class at the end. And we'll also be doing review. So every week you guys can submit your work on Discord for review. And I'll do that at the end of the lesson for today, where I look at what you guys have done, and we'll just kind of glance over and make sure everything's looking good. And all right, let's get to it. So we take this floral wire here, or any sort of small gauge wire, and we're just gonna cut a piece. So it's nice, it has that little built-in cutter feature. Okay. Now we're gonna tie it onto, or just kind of twist it around a few times here onto the wire. There we go. And here's the front. That's the back. And we're just gonna kind of tightly wind it all the way up and down the spine. I'm just gonna do this really well so we don't have to use any steel stick. Be tied up enough that we won't have to do any sort of. Because if you're really worried about this connection, if it was kind of wobbly or loose, you could put epoxy glue, 5-minute epoxy, or any sort of epoxy clay or something on there to lock it in. But if you wind it tight enough, it'll be really sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. Yeah. Now we have a neck and a tail. Skeleton to our dragon. See, this is the part that makes me want to maybe do the glue. See how this can turn? See that? It's the only part that would be a bummer. So maybe we will do the glue. Let's get it in position first before we do that step. When you start a piece, you don't want to repeat it. Yeah, well, and you don't have to. You don't have to do that. That's definitely a it's a newer part of my workflow, doing these mock builds, but it does help. It really does help foresee any complications or problems that you might have. Okay, so this paw, the one that's up in the air, we don't need the extra because it's not going to be touching the base. So let's go ahead and cut that right there. Okay. Okay, this one. Cut these ones on the feet a little bit shorter. Now remember, there's the thickness of the wood, and we want to leave a little bit of room on top of that. So we have the thickness of the wood here, right? So we need to leave that much, and then we want a little bit on top of that. So probably wherever the thickness is there. I think it's right about there. So let's cut that. We want to leave a little bit of room so we can actually fit the scenery underneath. Okay, so now we want to copy this measurement over to here. Our patented finger calipers. About right there. Hey, thanks for the raid, friends. Come on in. We're doing a class today, so I won't be as attentive to chat as I normally am. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're doing a how to sculpt a dragon lesson 4. So we just created the armature here. We're making this dragon. We already sculpted the head in the last lesson. Lesson 3 was the detailing of the head. Lesson 2 was the sculpting of like the basic shapes and stuff. And then the first lesson was building this sketch right here. So okay, so let's see how we're looking here. Now I could see actually wanting him to be a little bit more vertical. So right now his in the sketch his body is more horizontal, but I think I want to get a little bit more height and really kind of sell this pose even a little bit more. So let's drill our holes and get our back feet placed. See here. It's gonna kind of mark where they go. There's nothing too crazy going on with these, so just want to kind of get them in position. Should be good. Now you pick out a drill bit that is about the same thickness as the twisted wire. That's how you can check. That's pretty much the same. You want it to be a snug fit. Yeah, you can check YouTube and there's a playlist. Also on Twitch, there's a video playlist. So whichever one you want to use, you'll be able to see all of them. I would say Twitch is actually a little bit better because we're able to edit the highlights to like condense so it's not all the extra stuff. So, and we also split up the video into 2 segments, the lesson and the feedback. So Twitch might be better. All right, now this can be a temporary piece of wood. It doesn't have to be the final piece that's the project will be on. Oftentimes I'll use kind of scrap pieces of wood to build them onto, and then I'll transition them to a nice you know, like a nice finished piece, something like this, after all the construction's done, so, and the painting and all that. So, or it can be your final piece too. Okay, now we're just gonna kind of put this in place. There we go. Now, at this stage, while we're messing around with this, I think we need to get the glue on here, so. Never heard of Twitch? Twitch.tv/cnotbusch. It's just it's a place to live stream. It's where I'm actually, all the other platforms are secondary. That one's the primary one. So it's just a different platform, more geared towards streaming and live streaming. So check it out. Never too old to learn something new, right? Okay, so now let's see. Okay, now I want to get this spine area kind of locked in here. There's all kinds of different ways you could do this. We could use super glue with like with an activator spray. We could use UV resin with a UV resin light. We could use 5-minute epoxy glue, which is I think what we're gonna do. Could use some steel stick if you got some steel stick for the class. I currently am out of steel stick, I think. So that's how we're gonna use the glue. Just something to could do soldering. Yeah, you could do soldering. Although I'm not sure how well galvanized steel would solder. Not too familiar with that. Okay, so let me find my glue here. And I mean, technically this is not 100% necessary. I just really don't like when my armature moves around, so that's why I will be doing it. There we go. Mixing lid here. But yeah, we will be using some 5-minute epoxy glue. This is the same glue you'd use to, like, say I wanted to glue this armature into this piece of wood. I would use this glue for that type of job. So, and again, this is to stop this turning. See this turning from happening? Okay, we're gonna mix the 2 parts together, equal parts. Doesn't have to be super precise, just pretty close. Eyeball it. That's half of what I want. So you gotta do the other half. There we are. Got a popsicle stick here. If it turns, epoxy. If it doesn't turn, WD-40. Now you do want to make sure 5 minutes is a long time, so really take the time to mix the glue. Don't undermix it. I did that one time. That was enough for me to learn the lesson. I think that back then I was using a 1-minute epoxy, which is a lot quicker. Because you can buy it in different times. You know, there's even like 30-minute epoxies. It's formulated to go off at different times. Yeah, if you undermix it, what ends up happening is it's like literally an eternal sticky mess that just never hardens, never cures. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, we're gonna kind of just coat this union here in the middle. I'll work it into the in-between there. But you just want to be careful that it doesn't drip. I mean, it's fine. This is why we use a scrap piece of wood to build onto, because if we get a drip on there, it's no problem. Hit it from the other side. Okay, let's check for drips. See. Okay. And now I gotta wait for that to harden. Yeah, we could probably mess around with attaching the head. Now, this time is a little bit different with the head. So usually I have like a piece of wire with a solid core. But this time we went with just the foil. So what we'll end up doing is we'll end up inserting the wire into, and we might even use some glue there too. Glue or steel stick. Steel stick is nice because it just cures a lot quicker. Could also just kind of tether it to this foil and use this foil as the thickness of the neck. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's see a drip. Not today, buddy. It's worth mentioning, you know, there's always going to be something you don't have. Either it's a tool or material or something like that. And don't let that defeat you. There's always many ways to get things done. And the more you use different materials and experiment and use what you have over what you need kind of thing, you just become more familiar and more adaptable to always working with what you have. So oh, expressive eyebrows and kind eyes. I tell you what, my wife knows exactly what I'm thinking because she reads my eyebrows. she can read me like a book just by looking at my eyebrows. Oh, we got a drip here. I almost caught it. See, this is exactly why we don't use our nice fancy piece of wood. So it'd be a big drip on there. That's all right. So I'll usually, so this mixing tray with the stick will tell us when this is hardened. So that's one way you can always tell when the glue's hard. You just hang on to the little tray, and once it's hardened there, it's definitely hardened here, you know. There's another drip coming. Because normally I like to use steel stick for things like this, mostly because we're not dealing with drips, and it seems to cure a lot quicker. Now there is a technique we could do where we actually we could heat this up, and it's a chemical reaction that's happening here, and when you introduce heat, it will react faster, and if you introduce cold, it reacts slower. So yeah, once we reach the time, the 5 minutes, it's gonna settle real quick. It's gonna just harden. So we're just kind of waiting for that to go off. It gets thicker and thicker to the point where it hardens up. We'll start to see it shift here in a minute. But we could also use this heat gun and make it go quicker. Let's do that. Yeah, we're heating it up a little bit. That makes it go faster. It's also worth knowing that anytime you're working with anything epoxy, that the temperature of the room can affect your time. So if you're used to, you know, working with a 5-minute epoxy, in the winter time, for example, when it's typically cooler in the room, and then you're working in a hot room or, you know, outside where it's really hot, it's going to be different. You know, the timing's going to be different. Okay, let's see. So it's already getting tacky, which is good. Which I bet it's not here yet because we didn't heat this. See it here, it's not really, still a little bit liquidy. See, you'll start to know when it's really curing, because it'll start, the strands will kind of stick like that. Yeah, so we're actually getting there right about now. Makes the webs. Okay. All right, so yeah, see, it's still moving. Let's kind of figure out the hole here. So I want his arm to be really planted, this like really kind of straight, like he's pushing up his weight and reaching for something. So let's get this hole maybe right here. And we're just gonna drill the hole for this. Always get the sawdust off your workspace before you start messing around with the clay. Okay, so we want this planted. We want this shoulder to be more up, and then we want this one to be more down. So bend it here. Let's bring this whole thing forward a little bit. Let's go ahead and attach the head. This is still setting up. It's getting more and more firm though as time goes on. So let's kind of figure out where the wire needs to be cut. I think that's about the length of the neck right there. So let's leave a little bit extra. Kind of go into the back of the head. Grab my wire cutters here. Yeah, I might cut this at an angle so it'll spear into the foil easier. A little bit sharper. Okay, now I'm gonna untwist this just a little bit. And we're just going to go right into the middle. Spear it in there. Oh. There it is. Careful, you don't want to go too far in. Now that neck is a little bit, just a little bit longer. Let's go a little bit further. Okay. Now let's take this tail of foil here and just wrap it around the neck. Where we play around with the bows. Now we have the eyes in place, so we want to line them up so he's looking at what he's reaching for. He's trying to reach for something on the top shelf. Maybe a treat or something. I'm tempted to make this leg up here somewhere, like he's climbing with that leg too. Let's just see how that would look. Let's see, foot planted here. So maybe whatever. When I'm thinking about stories. I'm thinking about what kind of story this is going to tell with this character, and I don't know why, but the thought of like that we make the base almost like either like a stack of books or something very much like the inside of a wizard's workshop, right? So like I'm thinking stacked books and little trinkets. Like this dragon's the pet, a baby dragon that was taken in by a wizard, and the baby dragon's causing all kinds of mischief in the workshop. You know, like just like a cat climbing around, knocking things over. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, maybe if this was a stack of books that he's climbing up on top of, that I would make this leg at the same level as this leg, so they'd both be kind of planted there at that level. Hey, book stacks was my idea. That's a good idea. It doesn't have to be a stack of books. It could just be like, could be like stacked up something. It could even be you know, stacks of crates. But okay, so whatever we decide to do for the base, stacked up D&D dice, yeah. Whatever we decide to use for the base will tell us the scale of this creature, you know. This could be a life-size creature, and we could make life-size books, and that would sell that idea. Yeah, it could be crates of potions, it could be stacks of books. Whatever story you want to tell about this dragon, you would create. It could be stacked up stones, like he's climbing some sort of ruins. Could be anything. Now, let's think here. So I think what we should do is we should possibly at least rough in with foil, because okay, so here's the problem we're having here is because I cut this. If I want to leave this leg like this, then we need to reinforce it, because right now I have these two areas of support on the wood, and it's good enough, but it's a little weeble wobbly, so I think I want to get this third one maybe planted in some foil. Or like I said, if we had some steel stick, we could just totally kind of sculpt in some steel stick here, but we don't, so. Or you know what, we could use some magic sculpt and just kind of sculpt these two wires together. And that would work. Could be climbing over some laundry, yeah, exactly. There's all kinds of different stories we could tell here. Okay, is this solidified enough yet? It's getting there. It's not really wanting to move, so let's kind of mess around with the tail. He's the one stealing the socks. Now we want to keep in mind though, if we're going to have like a stack of books here, that we don't want the tail kind of intersecting where that might be. So sometimes it helps to use just like chunks of foam or something to help visualize if you can't mentally think about it clearly. Well, let's see. I'm just wondering what scale we're gonna make this guy. Because here would be a realistic, like a life-size scale type of deal. That would make the dragon be perceived very small. I'm thinking though it'll be like the book, a size of a book will be about like this, maybe, like this size. So let's take, you know what, let's just, I want you guys to notice that we're gonna spend a lot of time in this stage because this is your whole foundation. This is your idea. And once we get past this stage, it's hard to go back. So just take as much time. We can use foil, but I actually have some pink foam here. And we're just gonna cut some, let's just cut some books shapes, you know, and really make sure that the pose we picked is going to work for what we have. Stack of Harry Potter books. So I just have these retractable blades are the best for working with this foam, and this pink foam is really good material to have on hand for all kinds of different things. So let's just say a book is about this size here. No, I'm not going to attach this. We're just going to use this as a placeholder. That's about a book right there. It's almost like sketching, really. These would just be our makeshift books. Let's see here. This is the one I'm thinking. Okay, let's see. Okay, jump cut yourself. And then, you know, and then the other foot can be planted on some books or whatever, and that pretty much gives us a lot of room to create some cool little wizard workshop type of stuff. Yeah, we don't have to know specifics, like if it's open. It's just more of like, just by putting these objects in place, it helps us really visualize the piece. I'm thinking actually, so we have this one on one layer here, and then this one layer here, and then this being the third layer. So it's like a step up, if that makes sense. So this one and this one are currently on the same level. So let's move this one down to the level of this layer here. That's what we want to do. Okay, let's move our props out of the way. Kind of like that. So this foot will be on this layer, this one at the very top, and then this one at the very bottom. I could even see lowering this one. So to lower this, all we gotta do is cut some of that down. I mean, it already is 1, 2, 3. It already is lower. But let's just do a smidge lower. Okay, let's give this a cut. Let's cut a little bit off of this here, just like that much. I want it to be a little bit lower. Yeah, maybe he's got the dragon cookies on the top shelf. Exactly. Outstretch the leg a little bit. Get that back into where it goes. So I actually kind of like this. So notice how he's a little bit off center this way, because he's really reaching, right? So like as if he's about to fall in the next moment. You know what I mean? I do like that. Put this back here. And this one here. And the funny thing is okay, so we can even go, we could make the piece like this, but we could even make this book stack even taller, make this really tall piece if we wanted to. Just really go for like the Leaning Tower of Pisa type of design. This one bent out a little bit. No, that's too... I like how it was bent in a little bit more. Okay. I think that's the winner. That's the winner. What about the tail? I think the tail works going that way. Or technically, you know what, let's have the tail going the other way, because creatures, they use their tail to balance. That's why squirrels have those big foofy tails. So maybe he's using his tail as a counterbalance over to here. I'm not going to cut the tail to size just yet. Okay, we want to leave the length on there for now. And we'll probably change the positioning of it. Arms and tail and wings and all that stuff can change position. But it's the legs that we have to really get locked in right now, so. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So we'll take that away. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to secure this with epoxy clay. If you have steel stick, you can use steel stick. I actually just ordered a fresh batch of Magic Sculpt, and we're gonna do we're gonna mix some of this up, and we're gonna reinforce the legs and make this a nice sturdy structure. I think, and then that'll have to cure, so that'll be the last step of our lesson today. I just want you guys to know that like I said, this stage, even though it seems like the one you want to kind of blitz through to get to the fun stuff, this is the part you should really take pause during this stage and really make sure that the proportions are looking good. And I know it's hard to tell when it's just a piece of wire, but just try your best, and you do get better at being able to get a sense of things. Did you already have a part of the story when you decided the proportions of the dragon? Yes, if you go back and watch the sketch class, that's when we made all those decisions. So the first lesson we went over proportions and anatomy and all that stuff. So, and you can also check out the Pinterest board. Let's see here. So here's the Dragon Class Pinterest board, which is all the reference material that we're using for this class. So if you go down here, I kind of established, this is my main inspiration, was these kind of style of dragon was what we wanted to go for. Because I knew I wanted to make not a full grown, huge, crazy dragon. I wanted to do something that would be easier for new folks to get into. So we landed on doing a baby dragon. And then, you know, you can see there's some dragon anatomy and a lot of these texture references we're going to be using a lot more later. So here's another good one. That's some good looking chibi dragons. All the information for the classes you guys can find on Discord. We have it all laid out there. The material lists, the Pinterest, all the links that we use. So. Okay, let's get this step done here. Nice and fresh. So this is a 2-part epoxy clay that takes about an hour or so to cure, and we're going to use it to fill in. We're going to fill in this area under here and a little bit up the legs. So I only need half. Like I said, you can use this stuff or you can use steel stick if you bought some of that for the class. I'd say getting some of this is worthwhile. I think this 5 pounds cost about 40 or 50 bucks. But you can get it in just 1 pound increments. You don't have to get 5. I get 5 because I do a lot more output, so I buy 5 at a time usually. I'm just gonna grab a chunk that's about the same size here of this other part. A little bit more. Now this stuff's nice because you can actually sculpt with this stuff, and this is just a good material to have. It's called Magic Sculpt. Magic Sculpt here. Okay, I think I grabbed too much of the white now. That's a bit better. You should wear gloves with any anything that's any type of resin. Uncured resin, it's just not good to be in contact with it too much. Obviously a little bit's not going to kill you, but epoxy sculpt is the same thing. That's what I use. Yeah, epoxy sculpt, or I think milliputty. I prefer Magic Sculpt over Aves for one reason, and it's Aves just doesn't have the it doesn't have a good shelf life compared to Magic Sculpt. The hardener, this darker color material with the Aves, it starts to crystallize really quickly. I don't know if they've changed the formula or not, but that was my experience with Aves. Is a lot of the time my epoxy clay just kind of sits around for a long time before it gets used. And that's my issue with it. Before I'm able to use it all up, it kind of it starts to crystallize and becomes useful.
I found it really difficult to work with while sculpting my rocks for the gremlin base. It is. This, no, what it is you've been spoiled by cosplay at that point. And cosplay is really nice to work with. And Magic Sculpt is not as nice. But I'm telling you, you get familiar with it. You just have to realize you have to work with it differently than polymer clay. Yeah, usually I have a little cup of water on standby when I work with this stuff, and that stops it from sticking to things, but we're not doing anything delicate right now other than kind of slapping it on this base here. I just want to make sure it's good and mixed. Alright, that looks good. I order it from Amazon. Wherever it's available. Okay, so I'm just gonna push this on here. Now when this stuff hardens, it's really, really tough. So I'm just gonna bring it up to where the bottom of the foot is. Get this in here too. So realistically, the only reason I'm doing this is because it's really it's because this foot right here I cut the wire short. So if you don't cut your wire short and you make that change, you might not even need this step. This is just to give us some structure here. That'll connect all that together. I could even let's just complete this right here. So it'll make the feet all connected in one kind of solid circuit here. It's just gonna make it not want to move at all while we're working on it, which will be great. There we go. Voila. Doesn't have to look pretty because we're gonna be, you know, it'll all be covered up by whatever the base is. And then the wings, don't worry about the wings. We will add the wings in like way later into the creation. So we just want to get this nice solid structure, figure out the pose, really take your time. Now I wanted to add the foil and our first layer of clay, but I don't think we have time for that today. So we're gonna have to do that next week. But if we can get it to this point, if you guys can get it to this point, it's a good place to be. So take your time, make your frame, start thinking about the scene or the story that we're trying to tell here. Oh, really? I didn't know that. So what, you just kind of spritz some water in the can a little bit every once in a while? Yeah, I mean, because other than that, they're pretty much the same. I don't really notice much difference between Aves and a Magic Sculpt. Okay, folks, so that's going to end the class for today. We went over the building of our armature, the making the adjustments to our design, to our pose. You know, after doing it once with this sketch, I was able to see what I liked and what I didn't like. And I liked what was going on here. I just wanted to push it further and have the character go more vertical than horizontal. And so we made that change, and then also just some small tweaks. And now we have a really good idea, a good direction. And yeah, that's going to end the 4th class. And next week, what we'll do is we'll go over how to build up the understructure and get it to the first baking stage. And we're going to do that for the whole dragon. And then we will be able to begin the layers and layers of textures and details and all that fun stuff. But this is good. Exciting. Lots of potential with this project. Okay, so we're going to switch over to our feedback round. So let's head over to the Discord. Let me first shout out PB Sculpt. Thank you so much. Enjoying the class. Thank you very much for the 4 months subscription. Tom, thank you for the 18 months. Tom, Prime subscription. I appreciate that. And ADC Art Attack, thank you for the big raid earlier. Are you baking more than once every sculpture? Yes. So at this point, we've already baked the head twice. So once for the face and once for the horns. You bake many times over the duration of the piece. So okay, let's see here. Let's do, so let me just quickly introduce people to Discord. If you don't know, !Discord will get you a link to our Discord. And let's see here. Here it is. Once you join in, you need to go to where's that? Right here, the rules tab. Click that, and then there's a little dancing guy. React to the rules, and that should unlock all these channels here. And you can see there's all kinds of different places to share things. But for the class, we're looking at the cnotbusch school section here. And you can go to the general class info. This is where we'll be dropping any sort of general information, which I think I will add. I'll add the magic sculpt here. So here's the steel stick, which you can use the steel stick for this step too. You don't have to use magic sculpt. Just some sort of epoxy clay to reinforce the base there. Some paint. There's some wire stuff. Those are the metal tools that are for making scales that I recommended. Okay, so let's go here. We got Dragon class, Gremlin class, and then Gallery. So let's start with the Dragon class. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Hashtag week 3, a bit more progress on the pup. Okay, let's see what we got here. Hey, it's looking great. It's looking really nice there, PB. I know it's just a progress shot, but I'd like to see you really layering those. You know what? Actually, from the side they look better. Okay. From this angle, they don't look as deep as they do from the side. Well, that looks good. Quite a character. looks good. Okay, Aaron, week 3. I'm happy with... You're happy so far with my dragon. He has no ears, but he has a ton of character already. Let's see. All right. Yeah, he does. I like that you went with the kind of like that scaled nose look. Yeah, it looks good. Looks really good. Yeah, and I'll be adding more, probably more secondary horns and ears to mine, but it doesn't have to happen right now. So the more you do when the head is just by itself, the easier it's gonna be. Because like when I add the ears and the horns, now at this point I have to handle the whole thing. So, but yeah, great. Yeah, great character. Very nice job. Eyes look really good. Cool. Nice work, Aaron. Keep it up. Sherry. My stage is up today. I need... Okay. Let's see here. Oh, there's your week... Okay, here's the week 3. No, that's Clayton. Okay. Let me just check. Let's just take a look. All right. Now I'm wondering here, is Sherry, is this your game plan to use like a UV resin to fill these eye cavities? Is that what you're trying to do here? That's what it kind of looks like to me. By having these like kind of like sunken in eyes, that you'll maybe fill this with the UV resin. Yeah, it is cute with the tongue out. Oh, is it gonna be like eating a bug or something? I guess I should read. Okay, my stage is up to today. I still need ears, horns. Not sure I'm happy with the scale texture. Maybe too bold, or the tongue. Something feels off. But have a great time. Hashtag week 3. Included a quick sketch with a dragonfly to explain the cross-eyed look. Okay, oh yeah, I see. Yeah, now I think the scales work. The tongue also works. My question is the eyes. So if the eyes, if you're going for the UV resin fill, then that should work. Otherwise, I'd like you to add more volume to the eyes because they look really flat right now. You know, so but you could easily go in there with just like pack clay into there and really make that roundness of the eye. Of course, then you have to resculpt a little bit, but or you do it just like this and you paint it, and then you can add the volume by putting in a UV resin. It's just hard. It's a little bit tricky to do because if the UV resin touches the outside edge, it distorts and then it looks weird. So it's a little bit it's if you can get it to work, it'll look really awesome, but if you could run into some problems doing it that way. But I like it. Very unique. Reminds me of what's that dinosaur from Land Before Time? The little one, Littlefoot's friend. I get those kind of vibes. Do the resin in thin layers? Yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. Because if you can get that nice domed lens effect with the UV resin, if you do it right. Ducky, that's the one, yeah. Get slight ducky vibes, which is good. Good. Yeah, so those are the things to think about with the eyes, is if you want to do the UV resin step, then just proceed forward. If not, then you should add some volume there. So you just pack some clay in there, get that nice round eyeball look. But other than that, You're doing good. Keep it up. Clayton. Glad to get this part locked in. This project's already my favorite dragon I've made. The larger head gives a lot of real estate for details without the whole sculpt needing a huge footprint. Yeah, exactly. Right. Because normally, proportionally, the head is very small compared to the body of a dragon. So, that's true. Alright, let's see what we got here. Ah, yes. Very nice. Yeah, I like the way you did the scales along the top here. Everything blends together really nicely. I also like how you mixed in some of these more pronounced ones along the cheek and a few random ones. Really cute. Looks just like a baby dragon. Went with the slit eyes and it actually works. So it reads as cute. But that's that riding a fine line there, because you could easily go too creepy with the slit eyes, but you did a good job because it reads very cute still. So all right. Nice work, Clayton. Very good. Saradini. I decided to make my dragon smaller than the original sketch. Okay. And I have been having lots of fun making this cute guy. I ordered a tool that was suggested, but it won't arrive until the 13th, so I thought I would wait to do the scales on the top of the head. I haven't attached the eyebrow spikes either, so I thought they might get in the way. Okay, let's see here. Very nice. Yeah, it looks good. I see what you mean, like this whole forehead, or this whole top of the head section. Just waiting till the tool gets there. Yeah, and just remember, when you get that tool, you're gonna have to file it and get it to hone it in to how the one I have is. I'd like to see you push these textures a little bit more. It is really soft, really subtle. Just like the, maybe, so right now all these lines are of the same depth, but you should add a little bit of areas where it gets a little deeper, either towards like the edge of the mouth or up where it meets the scales, just to create some kind of like texture variation, you know. But either way, the softer look isn't bad either. Yeah. Looks good. Cool. Nice work, Saturday Neat. Ah, okay. Yeah, once you get the spine to twist and to really lock together, it's a certain feel to it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but once it happens, you're like, ah, okay, now I see. It doesn't move. That's good. A lot of people, you know, I think I'm probably the only one I've seen that does their armatures this way, but it's just the way I've always done it. You know, it just works out really good. But I know that it's tricky to get it to lock in initially, and it usually just requires a lot more force. So, Toadstool Titan, hashtag week 3, far from done with this step, so I prioritized finishing my gremlin last week. Okay, yeah, let's see. That looks awesome. Very nice. It's before you've done the brushing step, so it's okay that it looks a little rough. I really like the eyebrows and the eyelids. Very like a storybook-esque character. Yes, very good. Nice work, my friend.
Okay. Keep it up there, Toadstool. Nothing more to say for you. Oh, here we go. PB Sculpt. Okay. I keep squishing my progress. Okay, let's see. Oh. There we go. Yeah, don't squish your progress. Hey, this looks good. That detail reads really well. Very nice. See the the variation of line weight by having that little bit near the edge, and just variation is a really good thing to do. So very nice. All right, working on those scales, those bigger ones. I want you to really push more pressure, like really get in there with that tool when you create those layers. You can always smush it down flat, but really get some thickness to those scales. Don't be too light-handed. So, but that is the right technique for sure. Just needs a little bit more line weight. You'll find yourself pushing that tool pretty heavily to get those deeper grooves. So, yeah. Okay, I think that's it for dragons. So thank you for everyone that joining along, and everyone's work is looking great. So, and if you'd like to start joining along any of these tutorial classes, you can hop in whenever. So make your submissions for next week, hashtag week 4 for next week submissions for the dragon class. Let's go check out our gremlin class next here. Okay. Hashtag week 19. He's finished. It feels like it has been the longest art journey I've ever been on, and I don't regret a second of it. I've learned more than I've ever imagined I would have. Thanks so much for the experience. There you go, Toadstool. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look. That's awesome. You really have, you have your own, you have a style that's just really nice. It's like very like storybook-esque. I don't know. It's like straight out of a, and I can tell that you made both your dragon and this character came from the same person. So really great job on the scenery. Yeah. That's awesome. Looks really good, I do have to say. So much going on there. A piece to be proud of, no doubt. Let's take a look at some of these still shots. Oh, the little hair on the ears. A little bundle of sticks. Man, I could make characters like this over and over again until the end of time and still have fun making them. There's just so much you can do. And I will. I will. Old mandrake root. Very nice. Detail shots. Oh yeah, look at that texture on the hat. It turned out really good. Okay. Very good. I think that's it for Gremlin. Final picks. Okay, we already got that one. We got Saradini. Oh yeah, these are different. These photo. Find the final photo shoot. Very nice photos, yeah. Yeah, look at that. Very nice fingernails. They look well maintained. Awesome. All right, Saradini. Very cool. a two character piece. I swear, the old guy here reminds me of my father-in-law. He looks very similar to him. Oh, I like that. That pearlescence on the bug really turned out really good. There we go. Such a great job, Saradini. Three character, yeah, it's just like a 2.5 character piece. Awesome. Great work. Great work. Everybody did such a good job. If you're new coming in here, go check out the gallery over in Discord. There's all kinds of really awesome work. Man, look at that. It'd be so cool to like get all these pieces in a room. Wouldn't that be awesome to do some sort of like in-person gallery? That would be sweet, but we'll settle for we'll make the best of what we have and just do it here for now. So yeah, okay. Well, so Gremlin class, do hashtag week 20 for your edition. I'm thinking we might not even need the hashtag system. I'll just scroll through like I did today. It's not that hard. It's not like it's that busy that yeah, but still put the hashtag in your submission so I can tell which one's your submission. So yeah, cool. A plan for the next cnotfest. Yeah, right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, good luck on your dragon skeletons. Really take the time to really make sure things are good in this stage. Many of you, this dragon is your second or further piece, and you'll start to realize how important this step is, and how easy it is to rush through it and then realize that you should have done things differently before. So don't do that. Don't rush. Yeah, big props and big thank yous to everybody who is tuning into the class, and also to those that are supporting and chipping in to the class fund. So without the funding for this class, we can't make it happen. So big thank you to that, because you guys are doing really good. We're past the halfway point already. So next week will be week 5, and yeah, I'll be back streaming tomorrow with Alduin. We'll be working on Alduin. This next week coming up is a little bit of a different week. My brother is getting married. I'm the best man next weekend. So we will be not streaming on Thursday and Friday upcoming. So I think we might be back. Actually, no, yeah. So I think Sunday class next week will also be rescheduled somewhere. I'm not sure when, but we're going out to where he's getting married and staying the weekend. No drinking. Not a drop to drink. But yeah, so Thursday, so no stream Thursday or Friday, and class on Sunday will probably be moved to somewhere else. So I'll make sure to let you guys know in Discord when and where that will happen. So all right, shall we find someone to raid, and we'll get on out of here. Thanks again, everybody. Let's see here. Let's get this raid going. Let's see here. Yeah, hey, Jumping Mouse, I went ahead and I did the final step for the piece, and it is ready for paint. So we'll be jumping right into the paint. But it'll be probably the following Thursday. Let's see here. Hey, Charles is on. Mr. Charles. Let's go raid Charles. He's really a fantastic illustrator. This guy's got some really awesome, crazy character designs. Let's see. There we go. All right, let's go rate Charles. A very fantastic, crazy illustrator guy. Let's see if he'll show some of his designs here for us. All right, my friends. Till next time. Bye-bye.